Hi Gemini, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot. My name is Carol and this is going to be a general reading for August 2024. And Gemini, I just think I have one thing to talk to you about before I get into your reading. I have been talking a little bit about personal readings, and I told you I would be putting out a video soon to explain a little bit about it. So it's coming. Sometimes things just take a little bit longer than they're supposed to, and so yeah, that'll be coming. So watch for that video. And so in today's reading, we're going to be doing some mirror work. So what is mirror work? Well, let me just tell you that mirror work is probably one of the best things that you can use to start to heal yourself, to start to find out what is coming up from your shadow to heal. And if you're new to shadow work, I'm going to leave a video for you. I'm going to link it right at the end of this video. And it's a video that I've done for my other channel called Carol Cares. And it's a video on shadow work. And it's also linked in the description box as well. So, yeah, it's going to tell you all about how to do shadow work. And shadow work is just basically healing what's coming up from your unconscious. So mirror work is about the whole concept about the universe is trying to reflect something to you that is connected to your inner world, to the unconscious. Now, I know that's a bit heavy, but I want you to understand it as when we start watching our outer world, like people that are in our life, like what's happening in our world to us, or even what's happening in the world itself, what's going on with our pets? What's going on in our own systems, health-wise maybe, or children. Children have an incredible way of triggering us. They always will be a mirror for us that are reflecting something back to us that we need to see, especially when, we sit here and go, they're driving me crazy, they're pissing me off, they're making me angry. That is mirror work. That is what the universe is reflecting back to you. That's related to a pattern or a belief system or a struggle or whatever it is that needs to heal. Now, let me give you an example. I am a retired teacher, and so I think it's really important to give you an example, a concrete example of mirror work. So I saw mirror work yesterday in action, and to me, I said to myself, I was trying to figure out why this was happening to me, because that's what mirror work is. And I knew it was because it was the story that I needed to tell you, the example. So yesterday I brought my car in for the umpteenth time to get fixed, and I now know that it's time to get rid of my car. By the way, it's just given me a lot of clues and things, memories that I'm done with part of this in my life, so it's time to get rid of this car. I know. But I was in the garage yesterday waiting in the waiting room with this woman, and there were just the two of us, and she had just finished talking to the technician. And you could tell that she was very much someone that was full of fear, full of anxiety, just the way she was walking around and talking about how she needed a cigarette. And I could just feel her anxious energy. And she started to talk to me, and she told me about her car and what it was doing. And her car, when it came to slow down and came to a stop or a light, she said she could see the whole dashboard, lights start to dimmer, and there was shaking going on, and her car would stall at the stop sign or at the lights. And this was happening all the way to her drive to bringing her car in, and it was happening all the time. And she told me there was even one incident last week where she had a police officer stop her because she was stalled in the middle of traffic, and he followed her where she was going. He followed her home. Now, this isn't, the woman's probably close to my age. I don't know. I have a hard time with the age. But she told me she was living with her parents. And I'm thinking in my head, like, why would you drive this vehicle knowing that it's going to stall all the way here? And the fear and the anxiety in her system over this car doing this to her was incredible. Now, she could have had a tow truck bring it in. She could have asked people she was living with to, give her a ride. But here's the thing about what's going on in this woman's outer world that she didn't realize that I knew it was going on because I've lived what she's going through. She's living a flashback, and the panic in her system. So she still thinks she's back in this flashback, and she doesn't realize that she can get out of this as an adult, but she still thinks she's back where she was a child and something was happening to her over and over and over again that was bringing up all this fear and all this anxiety, and she couldn't get out of it as a child, but she can as an adult. And so even just having that police officer saving her, and to me it just sounded like this was something from her childhood that was coming up for her to heal. And if you don't think that your car can be a mirror for you, oh my God. My car has been an incredible mirror for me to, bring back a lot of my own flashbacks of when I was trapped as a child and I couldn't get out of my situation. And so this is what, it's very critical on this journey to start to become aware of what's going on in your outer world, your conscious world, and use it as a mirror to reflect what's happening or coming up for healing in your inner world from your unconscious. It's a fascinating concept that the universe has for us. It's beautiful. But this is the way we can start using our triggers, these people around us, our relationships, what situation you're sitting in with your own relationship. How is this a flashback? How is this bringing up patterns from your childhood? And so we're going to start right now and get into this reading because I could chat forever about mirror work. It's fascinating. And so to start off your reading, I'm going to be using the Rider-Waite deck just to deal out the main cards. On the left-hand side, your outer world conscious part, I'm going to be using the Tarot Grand Luxe. On the right-hand side for your inner world, I'm going to be using Tarot of the Abyss. So let me start dealing. Okay, Gemini, here is your reading. So I want to start off in January of this year. I put out a yearly reading for each sign. And the card that came out for you for the month of August was the Knight of Cups. So I'm going to be using the Knight of Cups as the overriding energy for this reading because it is the August reading. The Knight of Cups in my deck, well, the Knights in my deck, there's 4 of them, and they represent freedom. I want you to think of, they represent like an adolescent part of us that just wants the freedom to be themselves. And they want the freedom to be authentic. And so, in particular, the Knight of Cups is the knight that wants the freedom to have authenticity in all their relationships, right? And don't we all want that, to have authentic and real and meaningful relationships in our life? And that is where you are looking for freedom this month. This is the overall energy for you in this reading. So freedom for authentic relationships. So let's start out with what's coming up. So this is mirror work. So what's coming up in your outer world here? And it's what you're aware of. And so we start off with the 5 of Swords. And the 5 of Swords is a card where I really tend to focus on this little individual at the back, if you can see him, because that little individual at the back has their hands on their face. And that speaks to me. I know myself, when I've had to deal with that emotion, it was always shame. And I always knew when I was dealing with shame and processing my shame is when I always put my hand on my face, because it's one of those feelings that just feel so yucky and horrible. And this is what I call my bullying card. So I don't know if you're in a position right now where you're being bullied, bullies bully because they're full of shame. And shame is something that we're not born with. It's something that is given to us. It's handed down to us by people themselves, where they had it handed down to them. And so there's a lot of, there's shame coming out here. So you're feeling definitely, like I said, I don't know if you're in a situation where you are in a relationship where you're being bullied, where you're constantly put down by someone else, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's with an intimate partner, whether it's with a family member. Sometimes it can be, our caretakers that, we had when you were younger that are still in our life, family members that are still in your life. It can be, a friend, where you're sitting in a situation, I think, where there is some, like I said, bullying going on, maybe some controlling behavior, where you're feeling very unworthy. You're feeling very unworthy. Because behind it is the Ace of Coins. And the Ace of Coins is our Ace of Pentacles. And it's in reverse here. And the Ace of Pentacles is an offer from the universe. It's a new chance for you, because it's an ace, to get into your body, to feel like you are worthy, because the pentacle is our body. The pentacle is our worthiness, right? And so this is a chance for you to get back into your body so that you can start to heal some of this shame right now that's coming up for you in whatever situation you're in right now. And this is a general reading. So it's a situation you're feeling unworthy, but there is this chance right here, an offer from the universe, but I forgot to say that it's in resistance here. And so for some reason you're sitting with this, but you're not taking the opportunity to heal your unworthiness. And I can see why, because there's a Knight of Cups sitting right at the end here. And King of Cups. I mixed these cards up because there's a K at the top, and then on the other, if it's a Knight, it says KN. So I apologize for that. So yeah, I understand why this is a Knight of Cups a King of Cups that is sitting right behind it. Now, the King in my deck is the masculine part of us. We all have a masculine part and a feminine part. It doesn't matter what gender you are, but the masculine part of us represents our ego self in my deck. And so you have an ego self here which we all have, is out here, and it's the one of cups. So it's the one that has to do with emotions, and it'll block your emotions. It doesn't want you to feel. Our ego self is petrified of emotions, petrified that this emotion is going to eat you up. And so if you were to touch the shame, if you were to, decide, what, I'm going to process this. I'm going to take this Ace of Coins that's being offered to me, this gift from the universe. If I decide, what, I'm going to delve into this unworthiness and try to figure out what it is and where it's coming from and why I'm feeling this. And the King is going, oh, wait a minute here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ego self says, we're not touching these emotions. We're not touching this. And so there may be some fear here for you to go inwards, because our ego self is very scared of this emotion, shame. There's been a change in your circumstances with the Wheel of Fortune. Something has happened here. I'm not sure what has happened, but there has definitely been a change of circumstance here for you. And I think it's because you are seeking some sort of justice in this situation. You're wanting to seek justice. Now, justice, if you look at this card, there are two main elements that come out in this card that we have to pay attention to. So first of all, there's this scale, right? We want to bring some sort of balance to this situation. There's something that's going on that's maybe it's something that's happened, or it's something that you're about to do that is going to change your circumstances or change what's going on around you. And then there's a sword over here. The sword represents our truth. And so you are wanting to bring truth to this situation that you're sitting in because maybe you've had enough. Maybe you know that there's more to this, and you know it's you're thinking, well, you know what? It's time to make a decision because you have the Two of Swords here. And the Two of Swords talks about us making a decision. I mean, you are very much up in your head with having to make this decision. I think it's really been, I can see here that when I see, yeah, I'll just continue on and then I'll go into that one. But this Two of Swords right here that comes in after the Justice card. The Two of Swords is always this mental energy. Swords are our mental energy. And so you have this decision to make, and maybe you know this and you're about to do it or you're thinking about doing it. And but you have a blindfold on, so that tells me that you know that you're really stuck. You're really stuck in doing this. And so that's where I think the issue is going to come in here, where you want to change your circumstances. You really want to change your circumstances, but you're feeling quite stuck. And you realize that it's time that you need to change something in your life. It's causing you a lot of mental anguish, but you're feeling quite stuck. And, you know, here's the Ten of Swords. And that's what tells me that you are so incredibly up in your head. And so much so that, I mean, this person is, I mean, it's done them in. And there's a huge resistance to, I'm going to say, realizing how much this is affecting you or has affected you. And this is the card that proves it, that's in reverse here. This being stuck in your head, turmoil of wanting to make this decision, this change for yourself that needs to be done. And you're just feeling absolutely stuck. And so the Lovers card comes here, and it's in reverse, and the Six of Lovers. The sixth card, the Lovers card, talks about you know, this very intimate relationship between two people. And normally the Lovers card, the two individuals in it are not looking at each other. In fact, the masculine part of it is looking straight ahead and the feminine is looking up above. And this particular card doesn't speak about a lover in, you know, per se. It really talks about that intimate relationship that we have with the two sides of us, the feminine side and the masculine side, and that is in reverse for you. And so what's very interesting is the card that comes right after that, because we talked about your ego self here that's kind of running the show, that's kind of telling you that, you know, don't bother going to that shame, don't bother looking at all these emotions. And then right at the end here it says, well, wait a minute here. Here's the Queen of Swords. Here's the feminine side to you. Because the Lovers card says, you know, the Lovers card speaks about the joining of the masculine and the feminine aspect of yourself, right? And here's the feminine side. And what does she have in her hand? She has a sword. She has the same sword of authenticity that you're trying to get to. This particular queen, she's in reverse. This particular queen represents authenticity, becoming who you are, finding out the real you. You know, who is that person that's buried underneath all of that shame? And so when the queen, the part of us, the feminine side to us, the one that's all about authenticity, the one that's very grounded in her body and knows who she is and is not afraid to feel her emotions. When she is in reverse, that tells me that you are sitting in a place where you're stuck, and it could tell me that you're also feeling very hopeless. And so you could be sitting in some real depression here because you just don't know what to do. And you also could be sitting with a little bit of anger here that's really stewing, because behind that anger sometimes is a lot of grief that needs to come forward. So you have some real heavy emotions that are going on with you right now. You have shame, you have hopelessness, you might have some grief, you might have some anger, and this is all around this feeling of being stuck and having to, take that next step towards your authenticity. But you're absolutely all tied up in your head right now because your ego self is telling you not to feel. Don't feel. Those are dangerous, dangerous emotions. Now, that's your conscious world. What is happening? What's the mirror here? So this is what the universe is presenting to you in this situation that you're in right now. What is it mirroring? What is coming up from your unconscious that is going to be a reflection of this outside world? And it's going to give us an explanation of why this is happening with you. So let's start out with the Three of Pentacles. Inside world, your Three of Pentacles. This Three of Pentacles is a card of getting help. It's a card, usually I call it a card of going back into therapy, but it's a card that's in your inner world here. And so I'm thinking there was a time when you were younger where you needed help. You needed help. You needed support. You needed validation. Something was going on. And here's this Knight of Wands right here that comes right behind it. And this is the Knight. Here's another Knight for you. You have the Knight of Cups over here, but now you have the Knight of Wands, and the Knight of Wands is a card again that wants freedom. So knights want our freedom, but it's a knight that wants the freedom this time to take their wand and to go into the direction they want to go in, because it's towards their authenticity. And so there was part of you that when you were younger, you wanted help, you needed support. You wanted the freedom to take your life into this new direction, to do what you wanted to do, and it could have been when you were an adolescent, but that's in reverse here. So that tells me that you were blocked when you were younger. You were blocked from doing what you wanted to do, blocked from taking that next move toward your authenticity. That's exactly what I just said here about the situation you're in right now, where you're trying to find your authenticity. This is towards your authenticity, towards the direction you were supposed to go into. And you have the Nine of Wands right here. And the Nine of Wands talks about someone that has been through a lot. Someone that has been through a lot. Look at this individual with a bandage on their head. And all of these wands they've collected all their life. It's in reverse here. Because I'm going to say that your environment that you lived in when you were younger, when there was something that you knew or wanted to do when you were younger, you were blocked from doing it because of the environment that you were sitting in. You weren't allowed to do it, maybe. You just knew you couldn't. I don't think you had the support. I don't think you had the support, to be honest. You didn't have the people around you that you needed. I mean, this is a co-creative card. This is about, people, rallying around you and helping you out to do something. Here's your younger page. Here's the pages in my deck are our inner children. And we can have more than one inner child. And I know mainstream psychology likes to say, we have just one, but we can have many inner children that need healing. Our inner children need healing. And this is the child. This is the inner child of yours that knew, Gemini, that knew what your purpose was that knew what direction you were, supposed to go in. what you came here for, what your purpose was. And you know, you just didn't get that support when you were younger. Well, here's now the Ten of Wands. Here's all the burdens that you collected. Here's your Nine of Wands. And now look at the tens here. Here's all these burdens now that you had to carry. What burdens, Gemini, did you have to carry when you were younger? And to me, it sounds like they were so heavy that there was no way that you could have gone in this direction. You had too many other things to do. Maybe you had too many other people to take care of when you were younger. Because this young child right here needs healing. The Two of Swords comes out here, and we have the Two of Swords again, and very interesting. It's right in the same position here. Second row, last card. The Two of Swords. This is your Two of Swords. This is the child that you know, can't make a decision. Look at the masks that child has to put on. They're forced to be someone else, taught where they learn to be someone else. And almost sounds like a kind of like a people-pleasing kind of thing, where I'm thinking, like I said, you had to serve other people. You had all these burdens from serving other when you were a child. And here's this person, this child, trying to make a decision of what mask they're supposed to wear today, right? And that's in reverse here. So that's I think what really caused you to not being able to make decisions for yourself, because you didn't get the help. Nobody helped you do that. And now what's happening is you are trying to make a decision. You are trying to get back to your own authenticity of who you are and make this move that you're supposed to make. You know, and work out and process these emotions of shame and other emotions, depression that were coming up here. And I think you're in a spot where you're just frozen, because I think what's happening is it's bringing up this moment or this time period in your childhood where this is what happened to you, where when it came to making decisions, you weren't supported, you weren't allowed, you were blocked. And so this is coming up again for you when you're wanting to do the same step. And here's all these things on offer. Seven of Cups. So many distractions out there. What happens to a child when they have all of this going on in their own life when they're younger, where they have to carry this Ten of Wands load when they're just a child? They can really become dissociated and distracted, right? I've seen some kids where they just become almost like scattered, dissociated. Sometimes, you know, if I'm gonna say this, and I might get some backlash from it, but I feel like, you know, an ADHD diagnosis is trauma, and that is very much a scattered individual. And that is a sign of trauma. And I'm wondering if you are someone out there that has been diagnosed with ADHD, I'm wondering if you have trauma and that you are aware of how much trauma you have. And you have the Nine of Pentacles that comes behind this child that has become dissociated or distracted, or, you know, very, very in a confusing state, not knowing which way to go, because there is too much here for the child to handle when they were younger. And so when you're having to handle this as an adult, you can do it as an adult. But what's happening here is this situation that you're in right now is triggering this time in your life. It's being triggered, it's triggered by this earlier time in your life when you had the same kind of situation when you were younger. This is the mirror effect that's happening here. Because you have the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is very much, I find it's very much someone who, if you look at this woman here and she's staring at this bird and just being able to get this contentment, this beautiful feeling out of just being present with this bird, this, you know, and just that whole feeling of being present in your body is not something, it's in reverse here. It's not something that you had when you were younger. Like I said, could be a dissociation, distraction. You didn't have the presence anymore. You lost that. There was just too much here for you to handle. And so here's the Six of Pentacles. But this is an individual, a beggar, that's asking for some money here. And this person is going to count out how many coins the beggar wants. And so if this beggar wants 3 coins, then they think they're worth 3 coins. They're going to get 3 coins. This is a number 6 in the deck. It's the Six of Pentacles. So it talks about this giving and this receiving. If you think that you're worth 3 coins, you're going to receive 3 coins. So it very much is a card of unworthiness. It very much is a card of feeling like you didn't matter when you were growing up, because there was just so much that you had to give of yourself for other people out there, and you're learning now that you don't matter. You have this unworthiness. Your first card started out with the shame, and now it's finishing with your unworthiness here. Here it is, right? Here it is. So you're wanting to have an authentic relationship. You're wanting freedom. You want freedom to have authentic relationships. And you're wanting to find your authenticity. You're wanting to take this next move. But you're being triggered heavily by when you were younger and all the things that you had to take on when you were younger. And so there's some healing that needs to be done. So let's look at what's the message from the universe here as to how you're going to heal this. Well, here's the 9 of Swords here. And what does the universe want you to heal with the 9 of Swords? Sorry, I'm really hot right now in this room. Well, this tells me that you have a lot of, you're very much up in your head with messages that you've learned from when you were younger. And this king over here, our ego self, can very much keep us up in our head so that we don't have to go into our body and start to feel some of these emotions. You are, I'm going to say, very much up in your head. You might even be, you know, waking up at, if you're somebody that wakes up at like 3 o'clock every day, every morning, or 4 o'clock every morning, someone whose sleep is very much affected by this particular ego self that wants to keep you in your head, And all of these swords right here, they represent our authenticity. But your authenticity is based on, so who you know. Let's go back to this 2 of Swords here. Do you remember this person that has to put these masks on when they were younger? You see yourself as all of these things that you were told about yourself when you were younger. All of these things that people told you. You know, maybe you were told that you don't matter. Well, here's sword number 1. Maybe you were told that you can't do anything, or you're not smart enough, or you're not intelligent enough, or all these things that kept you away from who you really were. So you've collected all these swords over the years, this mental energy, and you keep yourself up in your head and you keep telling yourself all of these things. Well, the universe says, well, it's time to heal. It's time for you to get back to who you are. Who is that person? Because there's a lot of pain here. Look at this pain. I want to say to you that these 3 cards that I pulled for the message from the universe is 3 swords. And swords is all about our mental energy and the mental thoughts, the belief systems that we have, the things we tell ourselves. The 3 of Swords, the pain. There's so much pain here. You have a lot of pain. And there's a real resistance on your part to going inwards, to getting back into your body, and starting to feel some of this pain of what came up here. in your inner world, your unconscious. And you have the Four of Swords. The universe wants you to take time out for you. The universe, and I think it's telling you that because I can see here, like I said, when you were a child, you've collected all these burdens. Maybe you're a big people pleaser. Maybe you don't put yourself first. And it's so hard to put yourself first when you were taught not to, when you were taught you're not important. But the universe wants you to start to take some time out for you. It's time for you now. It's time for you now. That's the message. How are you going to heal this? Well, here's a new start for you. Here's a new direction for you. You're going to start to take a new direction. Four of Swords. Four of Swords. It's time to put you first. It's time to carve out time for you. You have to matter. The only person that's going to matter to you, that's going to make yourself matter, is you. There is nobody else out there that's going to do it for you. You have to know that I'm putting myself first. And it's going to start off like little increments like this. Little things, because it's so hard to put yourself first when you haven't done it, when you were never taught to do that all your life. And then you have the Five of Wands here, that's in reverse. Well, the Five of Wands is my ego cards, the battle of the ego. These two birds are battling it out, saying which stick is going to be better for their nest, right? So that's what we do. We get into this position where we really start to compare ourselves. We look at other people, we get online, we scroll through our phone and we look at how other people are richer, other people are smarter, other people are this, other people are that. And that keeps us away from ourself. This Five of Wands, it's an unworthy card. It's a card of unworthiness. It's another card of shame, unworthiness. And right behind it comes another king. You had the King of Cups here, which is our ego self and talks about our emotions, and we'll block them. This particular king talks about, it's the King of Swords. So we really talked a lot about your mental energy that you're sitting with, and the universe wants you to start to listen to what your ego self is telling you about your authenticity. What is your ego self? These swords that you've collected all these years, and that you continue to tell yourself, right? I'm not worthy. I'm a piece of crap. I don't deserve this. All of these things that the ego continues to spin in your mind is what you need to heal. You need to start looking at all those messages. And in particular, the one about your unworthiness. And I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you how to journal. I'm going to teach you how to write, to get back into your body. And so I'm going to leave a playlist on journaling. That's how I've learned to journal from how unworthy I am and how much of a piece of shit I feel about myself, so that little by little, I get to a place where I like me. So I'm going to give you a video on journaling. I'm also going to leave you a video on doing some shadow work. All right. So take care, Gemini. This has been an awesome reading for you, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye.